It's been a little bit over a year, and I really want to start documenting the process of me creating my dream life. I feel that I've grown so much in just this short period of time. And so now that I feel that I have a better grasp on what's happening, what's going on, and what I'm supposed to be doing, I want to document this journey for two reasons. The first reason is obviously for myself. Like, I want to be able to come back and look at the footage and see the different things, like what my goals were, how I reached them, what were my challenges and things like that. But then also just to be real and share my journey, because it may help somebody else who's going through the same things. So I just really want to start documenting my journey, looking for the things that in my life that bring me happiness and make me fulfilled and whole and help me to satisfy my purpose. About a year ago, when I said that I wanted my life to be different, and I committed to finding happiness, and I said I was in the pursuit of happiness. I didn't really know what that meant. I just knew that I couldn't continue doing things the way that they were and continue feeling the way that I felt. So I wanted to change. When I committed to that, literally everything was stripped away that I didn't recognize it to be this at the time, but lots of things were stripped away that were not conducive to me being who I'm supposed to be. And so those things were stripped away, and it was a lot. It still is very hard to process through some of those things and to go through it at the time. And I didn't realize it at the time. It just seemed like my world was falling apart. But that's what's supposed to happen when you say that you want to be happy. You have to change the things that are around you. So that means that some things will not be able to stay in your life. And so now I see that everything was stripped away in order to make room for the things that need to be there. And I'm saying stripped away, things that I would do every day, people that I would talk to on a regular basis for a long period of time, almost my entire life, were removed even. A lot of relationships changed. The way I thought about life in the world and just things in general just changed. And like I said, I didn't really know what I was supposed to do to be happy. I just knew that whatever was happening wasn't it, and now it was my job to just figure out what made me happy. And there are no rules to that, and so that can be a really scary thing. It can be exciting. It can be confusing, because you literally have to consider that everything that is not serving you, and kind of look at each piece one by one and either put it back or take it out. And with what's left, you piece together how you move forward from there. And so for a while, that was really hard for me to find out what really made me happy. But ultimately, I just started looking at myself. I realized that I really enjoyed learning. I really enjoyed teaching other people what I learned. And I really enjoy seeing the reaction from people when they get it, when it clicks. I love to learn. I always want to take a class. I want to take a class for whatever reason, makeup, sewing, belly dance classes, Zumba classes. I just love taking classes and making classes even, right? Because then when I learn something, I remember learning how to coupon, and then I create a course on how to coupon, right? So learning something and taking that knowledge and sharing it with other people. And so that's what I believe I'm here to do. So I just set out on this path. I really like that, and that's really fulfilling to me. And so I now needed to figure out a way, how do I do that in mostly everything that I do? And you can't worry about whether or not it's right or wrong. You just have to make a decision, because you can't make a wrong decision. You just make the choice that you make at the time. And if it turns out that maybe you should have went left instead of going right, then you will always have the opportunity to course correct. You're never going the wrong way. And that's something that I just realized throughout this year, throughout this process to pursue happiness. Once I figured out I want to give back by teaching people, I had to consider a few things. And this is where the dream life is so important, where it starts to really build itself. But it's hard, right? Because I was just like, okay, I'm just going to teach. And so I was doing the things that I knew to do. I was teaching people about starting vending businesses and vending and business operations and all the things that I knew, and I was teaching people. But I still felt like I was grasping at straws, and I also still felt like it wasn't completely what I wanted to do. It wasn't fulfilling for me. It was boring, the content that I was teaching. But, you know, I knew that people really wanted and needed that content to help themselves be better in life. And like I said, I want to teach people and help them grow. So I realized, like, okay, the way things have to change, because it just wasn't fulfilling doing the things in the same way, like changing a little bit of what was around me, but not making more changes. And so once I realized I had to make more changes, it made sense at this time to define what does my dream life look like. So when I'm working towards this stuff, because whatever I'm working towards, I just want to be happy, and I don't really know what that looks like. So it's kind of hard for me to like stay focused and motivated when I'm trying to sell my course or sell a phone call or whatever, and people are telling me no, and then I'm feeling like I'm jumping from selling this product to selling that offer to building this site to trying to get this client, and it felt disconnected. So I decided to define what that dream life looked like. It made me not think about work. It made me think about just me, and I really needed to like define every detail. Like, what do you wear? What do you smell like? How do you style your hair? What do you eat? What do you do on a daily basis? What you wear to bed, what you wear to go work out, what you wear to your kids' practices, what you wear around the house, what kind of earrings and jewelry do you buy? Do you wear jewelry? Do you wear glasses? Do you change the contacts? Like all these little details. Don't judge yourself when you're doing this exercise. And for me, that was really challenging not to like judge myself, because I always say like, I want a G-Wagon. For a moment, I'm like, well, why do I want that? Like, am I trying to do that for other people? Am I trying to do that for myself? And when I sat down and did more shadow work and over time, like I said, because this exercise is going to take time, I realized it wasn't about any of those things. It wasn't about me trying to have a car for a status symbol or to show off to somebody else. I like G-Wagons. Most importantly, and the thing that I missed was setting a monetary goal in this. I had to define what I was doing for work, and if the things that I was doing for work really were things that I wanted to continue doing, and if it is, did I have to continue doing it the way that I was currently doing it? So just to kind of summarize what I've said so far, is from wanting to be happy, the first step was just deciding that I wanted to be happy, and then deciding what is the complete opposite of where I am now that would make me happy, and deciding that, and then going even deeper into that and defining each of those details. So that left me with a few like rules for my life. Some of the things that I picked up along the way is about like, I believe that I am paid to exist. So like I said, if I'm learning something, I'm being paid to learn that thing, and then I'm also being paid to teach that to somebody in some way. Another thing was defining what I wanted to do for work. And one of the things was, whatever I was doing for work, it's not going to be a traditional 9 to 5. It's not going to be, I cannot do that. I'm going to bet on myself, because I did it before and it worked out better than I expected. So I expect that or better this time. I also established that when I get dressed, I want to feel a certain way. I don't even remember how I came up with this. I want to feel as pretty as a flower. I personally really like flowers and plants. It's about how when I see a flower, what that makes me feel like, and that's how I want to look, and that's how I want to show up in the world and be pretty like that. And so that is my measure of if I'm ready or not. Another thing that I decided was living more intentionally. Over the years, I still accumulated a lot of things, and why am I holding on to them? Like, saving certain things to use for later, but then I never use them for later. So at a certain point, you have to change that mindset, and that's what's so super, super important, is changing the mindset, because I have to be able to catch myself saying, now you moved these empty bottles 3 months ago and said you were going to use them in the future, and you haven't found a use for them. So I think it's time to recycle these, and really be honest with yourself when you go through when you are making decisions in your life. And that's what I mean about intentionality. And so intentionality doesn't necessarily have to be eco-friendly either. A lot of people think that intentionality, it has to just be in line with what you intend to do with your life. So with that intentional living, defining my dream life, and I'm saying I want to drive a G-Wagon, what kind of money does that mean that I need to be bringing in every month in order to do that? And so this is where it gets scary for a lot of people, just in general. Yeah, you can sit and price all that out. I did with some of the things because I didn't know what certain things cost, like remodeling my home. But ultimately what I did was I just picked a number. So I picked the highest number I ever made in a month, and I decided that would be my monthly goal, to get back to that consistently. After having these certain mantras and goals set, I had to make sure I put something in place to make sure that I followed it, and I did it every day. I started to focus on my self-care. That was the tiniest step that I could take to get to whoever that woman was driving that G-Wagon. My exploration into self-care led me into learning about meditation, just all sorts of different things that I didn't know about. So I needed a space that I could do that, or that would make me want to do that. I had a chair that I really liked that I had for years. I bought a new footstool, and I rearranged my room. I bought a yoga mat and some different things so that I can get comfortable. And I had my crystals close by. I was trying to find like different little decor items that could go in there so that I would want to go and meditate, creating this meditation space. That made me realize that my whole house needed to be like this, not just my meditation space or my bedroom, but my entire house needed to work better for my family and the way we were using it. That made me remember how much that I like doing DIY projects and makeup, and made me remember my love of fashion for clothes and getting dressed and doing my hair and different things like that. More recently, like I said before, because I was doing some things that wasn't for work and it just wasn't making me happy, and I just began to just really do more and more meditation and soul searching on that. And that made me remember how I wanted to have like kind of like this online portfolio anyway. So the best way for me to start right now with the things that I have, and it would make more sense for me to sell high ticket digital products. And so this is the new space that I'm working on now. We'll share that journey as well. And then just the things about my new lifestyle that make more challenges or make things easier. Things were really hard for a long time, and speaking with different people and friends who are just trying to give me advice and to help me, one of the things that I realized that deep down that is a hard boundary for me is that I want to homeschool my kids, because I just feel that it's the best way for them to learn. It also allows me to fulfill my purpose and to shape their experience around life just completely different than me and most people have ever had, right? So homeschooling is a boundary that I need to set, and so like I said, that made it hard, but that's why also the online portfolio was important. If you were like me at any point and you were just really at a point where you're really ready to change your life and you don't know what to do or your first steps, here's a few items for you to take away. So the first step is that you just have to be open to change your mind and open to challenging everything that you think is 100% the truth, and being able to look at it without judgment and decide, does that really align with who you are becoming or not? And so from there, the next thing is to dream about that dream life. Close your eyes and relax and dream like, what's the opposite of what you want to be doing now? If you're sad and depressed, I want to be happy and laughing. What makes me happy and laughing? Oh, well, I love watching comedy movies. So you go build from there. Right? And then eventually you get to this whole full-on picture of what this person is doing for a living, what they cook for dinner, what they wear, what their house looks like, what kind of car they drive, all these kinds of things. And don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just it's like placing an order. When you go to a restaurant, you place your order for pizza, and you don't worry about how they tossing the dough and putting the sauce on. You just know at the end of it, you're going to have the pizza with the toppings that you asked for. This is the same thing. Put your order in Put your and this also is not gonna be something that you're gonna do one time and that's it. The things you're gonna for sure add things to your dream life, but also you might find that you don't really like that G-Wagon once you get inside the test drive. You have to be willing to change some aspects of your of that dream life picture, because remember, you're only gonna get what you ask for as long as you keep that open mindset. And the last thing that was key for me is once you get that dream life in your mind, you work backwards from there, and that's how you get to your first step today. So what's that salary? What's the city? What's the type of house are you living in that dream life? And then fast forward to today and take the first baby step towards that. And self-care, that's always the perfect place to start. Like I said, if you can't do anything else, you can't think of a better place to start with yourself, because this is something that anybody can do, no matter where you are in life, what resources you have. If you have the mindset today that you want to be happier tomorrow, then the first baby step to that is whatever you can muster up. So again, if you just have nowhere to start with that self-care, and that's always going to guide you and help you find where you're supposed to be. Ultimately, no matter what you're doing, it's not about getting to the end. It's about being the person that you want to be, but most importantly, it's about enjoying the journey while you're getting there, enjoying that process, being able to embrace the ups and the downs, and learning from everything, that things that seem bad that happen are not necessarily bad things. They're just things that had to happen so that you can learn more boundaries, more lessons about yourself, and so that you can continue to grow. So I challenge you to take the first step today, the first baby step today towards your dream life, and let me know what that step is in the comment section.